So My Hero Academia episode 24 was an exhilarating episode and easily one of my favorite episodes within this series so far. I knew this was going to be a very hype episode, even being anime original like myself, I knew this was going to be great. You literally have Deku versus All Might. On top, his partner is Bakugo, the guy who he has least in common with and could work with well out of everyone in this school currently. So to put them up and force them to go up against his idol, his mentor, his teacher, and granted he's a bad teacher, but he's a great role model and just someone to look up to for Deku. It's great to finally see something this hype animated, and I love the outcome and how it was structured. How All Might really played into the role of being the villain, even kind of like quoting and kind of feels like a lot of the Stain stuff, and just like how he was really kind of, it felt like he was imitating the battle that Deku, Todoroki, and them went up against when he was on his internship there. It just felt like the way this was all structured, it really felt like this season was coming back full circle from all the stuff that we've been seeing, and how everything that they've learned over this season really came into play. And I love how it ultimately ends up where Bakugo just reluctantly finally kind of accepts that he needs to work with Deku and Deku needs to work with him. And I love how different they are, where Deku at the start, he wants to just flee because he sees All Might as All Might. There's no way we could literally beat All Might. We're not going to handcuff him. We need to escape. Whereas Bakugo wants to go head on, and he would rather lose than accept help from the guy who seemingly has jumped insane amount in his power, where he feels like he didn't grow at all, which is something that really feels good for Bakugo, because even though you could say it's a little annoying how much he gets pissed off at Deku and things like that, but if you look at it from his perspective, he's the same power level, more or less, that he has been since the beginning of this season, whereas Deku, the guy who couldn't even use a fraction of his power without destroying his body, now can mimic Bakugo's moves and also use a pretty decent amount of his power and not shatter his bones. To him, it seems like Deku, the guy who he thought was nothing, is going to surpass him. But I do like All Might's comment to him, saying like, you were already at an insane level, it's going to take you longer to grow to your next level, whereas someone who never was able to use his abilities is going to seemingly grow faster, but it doesn't mean that you have reached your full potential, far from it. And I love the stuff with Bakugo, because it's nice to see him, because even though it was a little much of the same that we've seen with his character, him getting mad, things like that, and you gotta wonder like how his body is able to survive with all that anger fused up in him, it's nice to see where he ends up by the end of this match and how they kind of team up, how he passes one of his gauntlets to Deku, things like that, and ultimately how Deku isn't the guy, no matter what, even though only one of them has to escape through that gate to win, he's not the kind of guy who would leave his teammates behind. And I love how he comes back, throws a punch at All Might, and he's smiling doing it, which is what All Might has taught him. And I love things like that, and I just love how so many just little aspects throughout this season, and even some stuff within Season 1, came back into play, and you see how much not only did Deku grow, but also Bakugo himself. And even though he still is that angry man, you really see this moment, and I think it gets said within the episode too, where this is a moment that they're both going to look back at, where they started to work together and started to build something more than just pissed off rivalry. You know our main character is going to be the #1 hero, but you also know that Bakugo could be an amazing partner with him, another kind of support. It could be a healthy rivalry. It doesn't have to be one that's always just angry. So really, it was just nice seeing something like this finally happen, forcing them to work together. And even though their issues are far from over, it's nice to see that they've gotten over a major slump and were able to work together. So if they were thrown up against a villain, in theory, they might be able to overcome it because they did show teamwork by the end of it. And also, you just gotta love the main character Deku coming in to throw one last punch and saving his boy before getting through that gate. This was a great episode. Last week was great too. I didn't have a whole lot to say, but the Minato stuff from last week, that was amazing, I gotta say. But My Hero Academia Season 2, this has just been good. We got one more episode. I actually thought this was gonna be the last episode of the season. We got one more episode. Hopefully we'll get that Season 3, but I gotta say, they really got the sense of speed and power with All Might in this episode. The art and animation was fantastic. Literally, the dude just throwing a punch and how he destroys that street block using his abilities, how fast he's able to catch up to Deku as well as Bakugo. This was insane. You really got a sense that Bones went all in to make sure you understood just how powerful All Might was, even at a handicap with the weights and things like that. And just, I love this. I mean, All Might isn't the best teacher, but damn if he hasn't taught Deku some good life lessons and how he pushed him to evolve and things like that. You know he's going to be a great successor for All Might when this is all said and done. Fantastic episode, fantastic season overall. This season has had some fantastic episodes. Like, even when you're at the lowest episode of My Hero Academia Season 2, it's still great in its own way, but this this could have been the last episode for the season. It would be fantastic, but hey, one more episode, I'm not complaining, and hopefully we'll get that season 3 in not too long of a time, and it won't leave us on the go read the manga ending for eternity like many like to do. But I love this episode. I love just the dynamics and the rivalry and just how much it showcases the pain and frustration and just also how these characters are really overcoming their obstacles and seeing just what this season was building up to and what it's going to build up to within future content, which you know is only ever going to get crazier. And I haven't even read the manga, but you know that's what it's going to do. Great episode, voice acting, art, animation, story, everything about this was fantastic. I loved it. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What did you think of this episode? For manga readers or anime originals, what did you think of this wonderful episode? Let me know. And before you leave, smack that like button to show your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.